boys and girls. I am in Kona, Hawaii on the Big Island. And right now we are on this boat on a pelagic tour. Pelagic means open ocean. So we're heading out a few miles from shore and we hope to see some animals like pilot whales and dolphins. And what I'm excited about is hopefully we'll get to see some oceanic white-tip sharks. All right, we've just found our first pod of pilot whales, and hopefully we'll see some oceanic white-tip sharks around them. Now, the white-tip sharks don't follow the whales because they want to eat the whales. They are scavengers, and so they'll eat just about anything. And one of the things they like to eat is squid. The pilot whales eat the squid, they spit out the beaks, and some other stuff kind of comes with it. And so the oceanic sharks follow the pilot whales to try to clean up after them and eat the scraps that they leave behind. So that's why oftentimes we'll find the oceanic white-tips around a pod of pilot whales. So we are hoping. All right, boys and girls, this is what I've been hoping for. I'm going to get to see some oceanic white-tips up close and personal. Not only are they really pretty sharks, but one of the reasons I'm so excited is because it is very rare to see an oceanic white-tip. Unfortunately, they are critically endangered, so that means there aren't very many of them left in the world, and you can only see them in a few places. Now, you'll notice that as soon as we got in the water, one started coming right up to us immediately. They are very curious. Since they live out in the open ocean, they're not used to seeing people like reef sharks and some other sharks are. So they are very curious as to what we are and what we are doing. Now, as you probably noticed, the sharks aren't coming after us or trying to attack us or anything like that. But we still have to always be careful with sharks or any wild animal because they are a wild animal, they have sharp teeth, and we need to respect their space. And I have swam with lots of other types of sharks before getting in the water with the oceanic white-tip, and my guide has swam with a lot of sharks. So it's not something you want to just jump in and, try to go pet the shark. And as with any wildlife, we never want to try to touch it or pet it. We just want to observe. It's their habitat, and we just want to watch them and be respectful. Let's find out a little bit more about the oceanic white-tip shark, written by Pilot Books and Sarah Green. Oceanic white-tip shark identified. A shark glides slowly through the ocean in search of prey. Its large pectoral fins and rounded dorsal fins have white tips. This is the oceanic white-tip shark, one of the most dangerous sharks in the world. The oceanic white-tip sticks its short, blunt snout out of the water and sniffs the air. It catches the scent of a dead whale, one of its favorite meals. It drops back into the water and races the other sharks to the feast. Lost at sea. The white-tip has been blamed for the death of many shipwreck victims. The oceanic white-tip shark has brownish-gray back and a white belly. This counter-shading helps the white-tip sneak up on its prey without being seen. The shark's round eyes have nictitating membranes. When the white-tip attacks, these close to protect the eyes from injury. Broad scales called dermal denticles cover the white-tip and other sharks' entire body. They lay flat, so they're smooth to the touch. An adult white-tip is usually around 7 feet, but it can grow to be as long as 13 feet. Females, or the girls, are often slightly longer than the males. Both males and females can weigh up to 375 pounds, so that shows how big it is compared to a person. A scuba diver right there, the person. So this is the size of the shark compared to a person. Oceanic white-tip tracked. White-tips are found in tropical and temperate waters all over the world. They prefer the open ocean far from land. They are often found at the surface, but they can also swim to depths greater than 500 feet. White-tips sometimes hunt for prey in shallow waters near islands or over continental shelves. Scientists often use photography to track white-tip migration. That means where they go. They take photos of white-tips in their natural habitats and identify them by their unique coloring and marks. Whitetips migrate or travel when the water temperature changes. When it gets cooler, the sharks move to warmer waters. Males and females sometimes migrate in separate groups. That means the girl sharks might go one way and the boy sharks go a different way. This is a picture of a young oceanic whitetip shark. Oceanic whitetips are viviparous. That means they give birth to live young instead of laying eggs. Pups develop inside their mother for almost a year. Then the mother gives birth to a litter of 1 to 15 pups. Did you guys know that baby sharks are called pups? Larger females often have larger litters. At birth, the pups are around 25 inches long. They have a black or a tan fin tip. As they grow, the tips get lighter in color and eventually become white. Whitetips mature at 6 or 7 years old, and at this time, they're usually around 6 feet and still growing. Whitetips hunt both day and night. They feed mainly on squid and fish, but they might also eat sea turtles, birds, or even dead whales. Whitetips have powerful jaws and sharp teeth. The upper teeth have a triangular shape and serrated edges. They can easily cut through skin and bones of their prey. The lower teeth are serrated only at the tip. They are used to hold prey. Whitetips don't chew their food. They rip bite-sized chunks and swallow them whole. Whitetips use highly developed senses to find prey. They rely mostly on their keen sense of smell. They often lift their snouts out of water to sniff the air. This helps them locate surface prey that might be far away. The white marks on their fins also help them catch prey. Other fish might mistake the white spots for a school of fish, and then when they come close to investigate, the whitetip attacks. Whitetips can sense electrical fields of animals that live in the ocean. Small holes in their snouts, called ampullae of Lorenzini, detect these fields. Whitetips also have sensors called lateral lines. These run along the sides of their bodies, and it allows sharks to feel movements made by their prey. Whitetips also have a sharp sense of hearing. They can hear the sounds of ocean animals from miles away. Pilotfish often swim with whitetips. So there's a pilotfish, and you usually see those swimming around with the whitetips. The sharks protect pilotfish from other predators and provide leftover food. In return, the pilotfish swim into the mouths of whitetips and clean their teeth. They also eat the parasites that live on the shark's skin, so they help each other out. Whitetips are also known to follow pilot whales. Some scientists believe that that's because pilot whales are good at finding squid. When the whale dives for them, the whitetips follow close behind. Sailors used to call these sharks sea dogs because of their habit of following ships. The oceanic whitetip is best known for this behavior. The oceanic whitetip's current status. The population of the oceanic whitetip is in decline. Scientists believe the number of whitetips in the Atlantic Ocean has dropped by over half between 1992 and 2000. Overfishing and certain fishing practices pose the greatest threat to whitetips and other sharks. People hunt for them for their meat, fins, and skin. The fins are used in shark fin soup, and the skin is made into leather. Whitetips and other sharks are often caught as bycatch in nets and on fishing lines meant for other fish. Some fishers safely release the whitetips back into the sea, but others kill them for their fins. The International Union for Conservation of Nature lists the oceanic whitetip as vulnerable. And this right here shows all of the different things that an animal can be considered as, like how many there are in the wild. And this book was written in 2013, and at that point they were considered vulnerable. It's now 2023, 10 years later, and unfortunately oceanic whitetips are now critically endangered. There's very, very few of them left in the wild. So just a few things about the oceanic whitetip. It's commonly called oceanic whitetip shark, also known as a whitetip. Its nickname is the sea dog. Its claim to fame is attacks on shipwreck victims. Its hotspots are far away from land in the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Ocean. It can live up to 22 years and currently vulnerable in 2013, but now in 2023, critically endangered. Today, people around the world are working to protect oceanic whitetip sharks. Many fishers have stopped using bait that attract whitetips. The United States and some other countries have banned finning. Whitetips play an important role in the oceans of the world. They help keep the water clean by eating sick or weak prey. They also help to prevent prey populations from growing too large. As more steps are taken to protect oceanic whitetips and other sharks, the sharks can reclaim their reign of the open sea. All right, boys and girls, I hope you liked hearing a little bit more about the oceanic whitetip shark, one of my personal favorite sharks.